Zoe, where are we going?
We are going to do our interview at the Queensland Museum.
And where?
The Level 3 Discovery Centre.
Cool. So we are here at the Queensland Museum.
And there is a paper bag dinosaur skeleton.
Awesome, and this is the museum.
Yay!
What do you think is the most educational tourist attraction in the city?
Most education. I think this whole cultural precinct, so that's the art gallery, Goma, museum and QPAT, have become a real focal point for all ages, so not just girls your age, but also adults and older people. I think they come here to find out what's happening not just in Queensland but the rest of the world too, because we often have exhibits and talks and forums that deal with world issues. And particularly QPAT and Goma get a lot of work that has relevance to other parts of the world. So education for us is the biggie. So it's not just specific things where you take information and you write it down and you learn it. It's actually information that affects your life right now and can keep you abreast on what's happening everywhere.
On a scale from 1 to 10, what do you rate the overall quality of Brisbane's educational tourism and why?
Man, you've asked me some curly ones. I should have prepared myself for these. From 1 to 10. I'd say 7. I think sometimes we get it right. I think we get good information about what's happening in the rest of Australia, but sometimes we maybe don't provide enough information to our international visitors about what's happening here in Queensland, which is what they want to know, particularly for Indigenous cultures and other local communities. So that's why I try and bring in as much local work and information as I can, because that's what international visitors want to know about. But I think for our Australian communities and our Queensland communities, we provide a pretty good overall education provision that links with Australian curriculum and what the schools are wanting.
Do you think there is enough educational tourist attractions in Brisbane and why?
But see, I see everything as educational. So things like the botanical gardens, I see, construction of bridges, I see all those things as educational. So I don't like limiting educational just to, displays that have bits of information on it and things like that. So if people know where to look and how to look, yes we do. But maybe our role as a city in Brisbane is to give people the signposts so they know where to look for the information. So we've got the information there, but we don't always provide a good way forward to get that information. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What was the second part of that question?
No, that was fine.
Oh, was fine?
Yeah,
okay.
Okay. What is the most popular tourist attraction in Brisbane and why?
Again, I think South Bank, probably, because it has so many elements to it. It's got outdoor facilities, it's got the cultural precinct, it's got access to the city. I think that's where most tourists come, is to South Bank.
Yeah.
Do you think Brisbane's educational tourism makes it a world city and why?
I don't know if people in other parts of Australia would rank Brisbane as a world city from an educational perspective. Again, I think we just need to get a bit more sophisticated in the way we promote our sites and our information, because I think we've got a lot of great things here and in South East Queensland in general, but people don't know how to find them. So They come to South Bank and then want to know where everything else is.
How do you compare Brisbane's educational tourism to other world cities?
I think we're getting there, we're getting better. We need better transport in Brisbane for people to be able to access our different resources. It's very hard for people to get to different parts without having their own transport in Brisbane. I think we compare pretty well. I think Asia has a lot more sophisticated ways of promoting what they consider educational. I think Brisbane's on the right track, though. I think our facilities that we do have are pretty sophisticated, and I think the people that we engage in cultural tourism are very good at what they do. So we've got good people, we've got good venues. We need better transport and better ways of people finding information.
Yeah, like trams are good.
Trams would be great.
7.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how educational do you think Brisbane's tourist attractions are?
Well, I have to keep coming back to the big E of education, and I'd say from a big E perspective, our educational facilities, and that's not including things like museums or galleries or the traditional ways, rank about 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because people can gain information about Australia and Brisbane in a whole range of ways, because we have so many fabulous national parks, we have so many fabulous natural aspects to what people can do, even if they're walking through Noosa National Park. You get a lot of great information. But if we're looking specifically at places where people can go to get traditional forms of education, then maybe not as much as other parts of the city. So maybe if we're looking at traditional information, educational information, then maybe 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
What age group do you think Brisbane's educational tourism is most suited for?
I think we attract a lot of older tourists, so maybe 50 to 60 and up seem to get a lot out of Brisbane because they know where to find the information, so they're pretty good at it. Having said that, children love coming here because this cultural precinct now has become such a great space for active learning.
Yeah.
So they're able to interact with a lot of the things we do, and a lot of the things we do here at the Queensland Museum are about hands-on learning.
The Science Centre.
Yeah, and the inventory. I don't know if you visited the inventory. You can go up and have a look at it. Take you up there. So we focus on a lot of hands-on, a lot of making and interactive play as a form of learning, rather than just traditional learning. So, is that the whole question again? What did you ask me? That's it. Okay.
What makes Brisbane's tourism world class?
We're very clean, pretty, well, people feel safe.
Yeah.
So I think that's why a lot of people access us. And maybe they want to find out more about other parts of Queensland, so they come to Brisbane to find out about other parts of Queensland. And I think our Queensland tourism is pretty high profile on a world level. They go to lots of international events and promote Queensland at those events, so people get to hear about what we're doing. And I think Brisbane lately has been rated on some tourism side as being the new world city for something or other, which is great. I just wish we had the transport to back that up.
Question 9, is it?
10, I think.
Question 10. Oh, it's hard to read. What educational tourist attraction do you visit most often?
Well, obviously I'm here at the museum.
Yeah.
with my children, probably, Gallery of Modern Art, Goma, come to quite a lot. And the planetarium over at Botanical Gardens at Mount Cootha.
Oh yeah.
And even accessing lots of the great walks around the city, historical walks.
And we're coming to the whale. And it's making noise on the board. Look at it. Oh, what a cool.